Is more windy weather on the way.
I'm Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck, and it is, but not until Friday. We got a nice break today, even though it's cloudy and cold, and we'll do even better tomorrow. How about some sun and 40s for highs? More on that in your 7-day forecast coming up.
You're watching ABC 36 on your side. News at 6.
Good evening. We're glad you're here tonight. I'm Farron Foster.
And I'm Paxton Boyd. Thanks for joining us. In our top story tonight at 6, a new partnership between the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, or ATF, and Bluegrass Crime Stoppers is aiming to keep firearms out of the wrong hands.
The partnership marks the first of its kind between the ATF and a Crime Stoppers organization. ABC 36's Anna Medina was at the meeting and explains the efforts of this partnership, including some incentives for those who help with tips. Anna.
Those with Bluegrass Crime Stoppers say the thought of a partnership came after a Facebook post talking about the amount of firearms that had been stolen from vehicles. The idea sparking conversation between different agencies on being proactive. The purpose to remove illegal guns and stolen firearms off the street so they don't land in the hands of someone who could potentially do harm. The ATF says oftentimes stolen guns are used to commit crimes. Officials say 475 guns were reported stolen in 2023. 411 of those were stolen from a vehicle, meaning over 80% of the firearms stolen were taken out of vehicles in Fayette County.
ATF is providing $10,000 to Crime Stoppers to be used as rewards for information leading to an arrest and seizure of a firearm used in a crime, or the arrest of a person in possession of a stolen gun. For this program to be successful, we need the community's support. You can contribute to public safety by providing information.
And coming up at 11 tonight, Bluegrass Crime Stoppers breaks down how anonymous tippers can benefit. Now, in the last 3 years, the Bluegrass Crime Stoppers program has made or assisted with tips leading to over 189 arrests, and 18 of those were homicide arrests in the communities. You can always submit a tip anonymously to Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. For now, Anna Medina, ABC 36 on your side.
Well, across the state, crews are still out cleaning up debris from yesterday's strong, damaging winds.
Yeah, the state's transportation cabinet says crews were deployed to Breathitt, Estill, and other counties. Now, the wind and rain yesterday knocking down tree branches across the area and also knocking out power for people in eastern and southern Kentucky. Right now, the state power outage map shows less than 100 still without power.
Meanwhile, the state says crews were out overnight pre-treating roads and as the temperatures drop with the dusting of snow. City officials in Lexington say with more winter weather on the way, crews will also be pre-treating roads on Sunday. The city says there's also plenty of salt on hand at the salt barns to help keep streets safe.
We are in really good shape. We're maxed out on liquid additive, and we've only used like a couple 100 tons of salt spot treating already this year. We have a contract in place to replace it, so we feel pretty comfortable about that. We have over 8,000 tons on hand. A typical 2-inch event will use anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 tons.
Now, there are at least 2 salt barns in Lexington. One is next to the city's West Hickman wastewater treatment plant. The other is off of Old Frankfort Pike.
And let's check on now that forecast with Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. T.G., you know, you kept saying there's good news and bad news. Can we get the good news, or at least end on good news, or what's going on with this weather,
Start with
man?
the good news. First off, yeah, it was cloudy, cold today, but minimal problems this morning. I had a few here and there. A little bit of light snow on the ground down in southern Kentucky and really through much of the area. This video from Johnny Nicholson earlier. Clouds, of course, hanging around to go along with the cooler temperatures, but at least our satellite and radar regionally, not much going on, and we need the break. Now, this wave of low pressure, very weak moving through Iowa. That's going to head to the western Great Lakes, but actually will play a part in helping hold our temperatures in check a bit as we go through the evening and the overnight. Downtown Somerset Public Square, quiet, cold. That's been the case all day long. We're at 37. Winds are backing down, but I think they'll be up a bit. Maybe 10 to 15 at times through the evening and the overnight. We're in the mid-30s, got a couple of upper 30s down south. Notice our gusts still hanging around that 20, 25 mile per hour range as we get a little deeper into the evening. Those will back down. 30s here, but look to the southwest. You see the mid 40s, and they were in the upper 40s to around 50 for highs today. Believe it or not, that's where we're going to be tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to. Now, out the door this evening, of course, you'll need the heavier coat as it is still a bit on the breezy side to go along with the chilly temperatures. But one thing to note here, notice how we don't move very much at all with our temperatures. I think we'll drop down probably closer to the freezing mark, maybe middle of the night. But the combination of the clouds and that southwest wind at about 10 to 15, thanks to that low off to our northwest, that's going to level out our temperatures and maybe bump them up a couple of degrees out the door tomorrow morning, right around freezing or a little bit above. But a great looking Thursday. We're talking some sunshine and highs in the upper 40s. So there you go, ending on some good news, but that'll about be it because we're headed back the other direction with active weather to end the week and into the weekend. More on that coming up.
Developing news now, Governor Andy Beshear declaring a state of emergency for a city in Letcher County after a water shortage. Now, the executive order is for the city of Fleming Neon. Governor Beshear says there are low water levels in the city's freshwater well. Well, the city says there wasn't enough rain in the area last year. The governor telling us today's order allows for more state resources to help with the shortage.
Well, an ABC 36 update now. A popular Louisville chef turned Food Network stars pleading not guilty in connection to an alleged violent attack against a woman inside of her home. As ABC affiliate WHAS 11 in Louisville reports, Darnell's super chef Ferguson was arrested yesterday on burglary, strangulation, and terroristic threatening charges. Ferguson pleading not guilty in court today. His bond is set at $10,000. Now, court documents show Ferguson is accused of forcing his way into a woman's home and then allegedly choking her while threatening to kill her. He's also accused of damaging the woman's home and stealing her credit cards and ID as well. As WHAS 11 reports, an emergency protection order was granted against Ferguson last week. He's due back in court for a preliminary hearing on January 18th.
In Pulaski County, an investigation continues after a deadly shooting during a reported argument. Now, the sheriff's office telling us the shooting happened Saturday at a home on Heaton Ford Road in Somerset. Deputies telling us Jeremy Grundy is accused of shooting 20-year-old Jason Highslope while the two were reportedly arguing. Deputies say Highslope later died at Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital from his injuries. The investigation into this shooting continues.
Well, in the fight against drug overdoses in Fayette County, the Lexington Fire Department is setting up free drug overdose boxes. The fire department says the boxes will be stocked with Narcan kits, which can be used to treat drug overdoses during an emergency. As we've reported, the health department says there's been a recent increase in the number of overdoses. Firefighters say they hope to install Narcan boxes in businesses and public locations all across the city. The boxes are from a substance abuse and mental health grant. You can find a link to request one on the fire department's Facebook page.
In Franklin County, the Frankfort Police Department is spreading awareness about human trafficking. Officers are holding a human trafficking training session for community leaders tomorrow afternoon from 1 till 3 at the Paul Sawyer Library on Wapping Street. Officers telling us there will also be a session open to the public from 5:30 to 7:30 tomorrow night. You can find more information about the program on the Frankfort Police Department's Facebook page.
Well, he's been under scrutiny since the 2020 election, and Congress has called for him to testify.
That's right. The president's son making a surprise appearance on Capitol Hill. We'll show you the most explosive moments. But first.
Well, cloudy and cold out there on this Wednesday evening now. At least it's been a quiet day, and we've got a pretty good one on tap for the day tomorrow, but you'll want to enjoy it because that active weather is going to kick back in pretty quickly. Your Storm Team forecast is coming out.